from your local election headquarters. This is Politics Today with Jackie Kingston.
City Secretary says the recently submitted petition over the Civic Center project is missing critical elements. A look at the latest developments. And voters will see some changes when they head to the polls in November. We'll take a look at what's new in the voting process. Amarillo City's secretary says she's not authorized to submit the Civic Center petition to the City Council because it's missing critical elements. Thanks for joining us. I'm Jack Kessler, filling in for Jackie Kingston this morning. The petition aimed to repeal the city ordinance approving an assurance of debt for the Civic Center expansion project. Politics Today, Kaylee's Green has more.
Amarillo City Secretary Stephanie Coggins says the petition process is outlined in the city charter and Texas election code. And the charter says for each petition signature page, an affidavit of circulator must be attached with 3 requirements.
When someone goes out and obtains signatures, they are considered the circulator. At the end of that process, they swear that they've collected X number of signatures, so they have to swear to the number they've collected. They have to swear that each signature they collected is genuine and is that of the person that signed it. And they have to swear that it was done in their presence.
Coggins says the Civic Center petition was received in 42 parts and none of them had an affidavit that included the number of signatures.
That was probably the most substantial deficiency. One other deficiency we found is the charter calls for the statement of intent that was brought to our office in early August to be accompanied by a written or printed copy of the ordinance, and that was not included.
Councilmember Cole Stanley, who signed the petition, says it's just a formatting issue.
It's not that it doesn't include enough signatures. It's not that they can't validate those signatures or that they aren't voters. It's that the way in which the affidavit was recorded doesn't meet their criteria.
Coggins says Texas election code stipulates once a petition is received, it cannot be supplemented, revised, or amended.
At this point in time, if the committee chose to do something, their course of action would be to begin a new petition process, and they could begin a new petition to submit to city.
Stanley says more than 12,000 petitioners are being disenfranchised, and he does not want to start a new petition process.
This is our process that we have for our voice to be heard, and so I want to continue to actively advocate for this petition and the validity of it.
Coggins says the petition doesn't meet the requirements of the city charter, and because of the deficiency her office found, the petition process stops and cannot be moved forward to the City Council. Coggins tells us the process is followed closely by the City Secretary's office, which remains neutral. She also notes the council, city manager, and mayor were not involved. This election season, Potter and Randall County voters will use the Variety Duo system to cast their votes. The change comes after the Texas legislature required all counties to have a paper audit trail for every ballot that's cast. Funds to transition election machines were provided by the state. Politics Today's Maya Clark has the latest.
To increase accuracy and efficiency through technology while adding a level of accountability through paper.
The new system is very similar to what we've used, however there is a paper component. So you will put your piece of paper into your voting device or your marking device and make your selections, review your selections, print out your ballot, check it, make sure this is exactly who you wanted to vote for. Big thing is they need to put it in that scanner before they leave because that's where it is actually cast.
Texas requirements regarding election equipment and the voter process is more strict than other states.
So Texas has a standard that is significantly higher than other states. The demands on the equipment is significantly higher, and so from a security standpoint, this is as secure, if not more, than anything we've ever had before.
The new voting system is meant to provide and increase voter confidence.
If this is what it takes for one voter to feel better about the system and to feel better about coming out to the polls and letting their voice be heard, it's absolutely worth every bit. It is not a duty, in my opinion. It is simply a right. come out, cast that ballot, and know that it will be counted.
Potter and Randall County voters are encouraged to test out the new machines before the general election on November 8th.
Early voting begins on the 24th of October, so there's some time in there. So we're rolling this out now, but we want people to come down and try. And just go ahead and play with it and get familiar with it.
Randall County voters can go to the annex Tuesday through Thursday from 9 to 4, and in Potter County, voters can go to the Potter County ticket office. Early voting lasts through November 4th. The general election is November 8th. And the only scheduled debate in the Texas race for governor is happening over on our sister station, Fox 14, from 7 to 9 on Friday, September 30th. And we want to make sure that all the questions Texans have get answered. So if you have questions for the gubernatorial candidates, you have a few ways to get them into the debate. You can scan the code on your screen right now or go directly to a form to submit your questions. You can also email your questions directly to the website on your screen. You can also post your questions to social media by using the hashtag TXGovDebate. Several Texas officials and lawmakers visited Amarillo last week. Coming up, a look at what they're planning for the upcoming legislative session. I'm Jack Kessler. You're watching Politics Today from your local election headquarters. House lawmakers just passed an election bill aimed at preventing another January 6th. If the Senate passes it too, it will change the way Congress handles presidential elections. Hannah Brandon is in Washington with the details.
A decades-old election law could get a major makeover.
We must update it and modernize it to make it work.
Lawmakers are pushing a bill to reform the Electoral Count Act, which sets the rules about how presidential votes in the Electoral College are counted and certified. The move is a direct response to former President Trump's efforts to change the outcome of the 2020 election.
People who don't like the results of an election feel empowered to lie and reject those results, sometimes violently.
Congressman Jamie Raskin says the legislation would make it harder to change or throw out states' electoral votes,
ensuring that strategic bad faith actors are unable to exploit procedural loopholes.
The bill has some bipartisan support in both the House and the Senate, but many Republicans say they won't vote for it.
This is nothing more than an attack on President Trump in the 2020 election.
Congressman Guy Reschenthaler says instead of pushing this bill, lawmakers should focus on solutions for issues like inflation or immigration.
Yet another partisan political show while the American people are at home suffering the consequences of their failed agenda.
But Congressman Jim McGovern insists this legislation is critical to ensure our government can function.
Vote like the future of our democracy depends on this bill, because it does.
With former President Trump weighing another presidential run, supporters of the bill want to get it passed before the 2024 presidential election. In Washington, I'm Hannah Brandt.
U.S. Representative Ronnie Jackson has filed a new bill in Washington asking to pull federal funding from NPR. According to a statement, Jackson's bill would end federal government support for National Public Radio. NPR was founded by Congress in 1970. People in Amarillo got the chance to speak with state officials and lawmakers and learn about the jobs they do for the Panhandle during the Texas Panhandle Legislative Summit. Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton, Texas Comptroller Glenn Hager, and Texas State Senate candidate Kevin Sparks were among some of the panel speakers. We caught up with Representative Ford Price to discuss what lawmakers were looking to accomplish in this upcoming legislative session.
The state's in an excellent position from a financial standpoint, so I suspect a lot of focus will be balancing the state's budget, lowering property taxes if possible, and I think that will be. I think school safety, I think school finance, a lot of issues regarding public and higher education will be front and center. I think development of our water resources and our infrastructure will also be prioritized because the state's growing so rapidly. Just about every area of the state's experiencing growth, and we need to make sure we're planning for the future, and this is a good opportunity for us to invest in some of that. So I think those are areas, along with rural health care, broadband expansion, some things that we have worked on but want to grow our effort on that will all be front and center next session.
Attorney General Paxton was the keynote speaker during the lunch. There were also panel discussions taking an in-depth look at Texas healthcare, agriculture, and the state's economy. Texas Comptroller Glenn Hager was also visiting Amarillo last week to talk about water management infrastructure. Hager says he came to visit the Panhandle Groundwater Conservation District with his Good for Texas tour. He talked about the importance of maintaining and investing in water management in the state.
Businesses are moving to the state of Texas, whether it's the High Plains, South Texas, East Texas, West Texas, and the point being is we are growing as a state and need to be able to meet that water need going forward to keep the economic opportunity for current generations and future generations.
During the visit, Hager shared the results of the new Comptroller's Office report that highlights the roles water planning and management plays in ensuring water availability in the future. The city of Dumas is now a film-friendly Texas community. According to the governor's office, Dumas joins more than 160 film-friendly communities across Texas. The commission has attracted $1.95 billion in local spending and created more than 180,000 production jobs in the state since 2007. Local drivers paying more for gas than those in other areas this past week. Coming a look at the reason behind the recent pain at the pump. Gas prices in Amarillo have risen more than 24 cents in the past couple of weeks, according to Gas Buddy. But other regions are not seeing the same type of price increase. Earlier this week, I had our own Kaylee Green had the chance to look into what could be causing it.
Judy Stark, the president of the Panhandle Producers and Royalty Owners Association, says gas prices always go back to supply and demand. And with the ongoing conflict between Russia and Ukraine, the supply is much lower.
And the other is we are still seeing the effect of COVID. And with the new variants that's come out, we still see maybe not the United States shut down as much, but there are other countries. And so the gasoline still produced is a worldwide issue.
She says the U.S. will also have to replace the 240 million barrels of oil released from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. Stark says there's no concrete reason gas prices should have shot up so much locally, but each individual company has the right to sell gasoline at the price they choose.
And typically, lots of times, anytime that does happen, if there's an increase, it could be that other entities follow suit.
Stark says supply chain issues are plaguing every industry, including oil and gas production. She says it's now difficult and more expensive to get supplies for pipelines.
I think oil is probably going to sit in the mid-80s. It could drop. I don't think it's going to very quickly. The gasoline prices are going to potentially maybe stay somewhere where they are. They may drop some.
She suggests using every possible advantage to get the best price.
Go to other apps, maybe Gas Buddy, and look and see who has what discount that day. If you need to fill up, who's selling the cheapest gas that day.
Stark says while gas prices are likely to drop some in the coming weeks, she doesn't think they'll get back down in the $2 a gallon range. The Federal Reserve instituted a dramatic interest rate hike on Wednesday in their latest effort to reduce high inflation. Republicans criticized the move and said the way to bring down inflation is changing the Biden administration's bad policies. The Federal Reserve says they know that this move will cause economic pain for Americans in the short term, but insists that the only way to get rid of inflation is to reduce demand. Politics Today Washington correspondent Anna Warnicki has the latest.
Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell says the Fed is hiking up interest rates by 0.75%, bringing the federal funds rate to a range of 3 to 3.25%, the highest it's been since 2008.
We have got to get inflation behind us. I wish there were a painless way to do that. There isn't.
Powell says the central bank is committed to bringing inflation down to a target rate of 2%.
We can't fail to do that. If we were to fail to do that, that would be the thing that would be most painful for the people that we serve.
Wyoming Republican Senator John Barrasso criticized the move, saying Americans can't afford prices to keep climbing.
Interest rate hikes are designed to slow down the economy. And yet we have an economy that's already shrinking and they want to slow it down some more.
Mississippi Republican Cindy Hyde-Smith says President Biden's policies are to blame for the high prices.
We were all hoping President Biden's crushing inflation might show signs of easing and give folks a chance to catch their breath after months and months of watching their paychecks shrink. That is not what happened at all.
Inflation was not caused by President Biden or this Congress.
But Democrats say the pandemic is to blame and remain hopeful that the economic pain will only be short term.
The Fed says any fix to the inflation will take time to play out, so they're asking Americans to be patient. The Florida governor's decision to fly migrants out east may result in legal action. Coming up, we break down the legal trouble officials could be facing based on the consent forms used. Lawsuits and criminal investigations are underway after Florida copied Texas and moved migrants out east. Politics Today's Austin correspondent Monica Madden obtained both consent forms Texas and Florida's are giving migrants and explores possible legal differences.
And I believe that they were preyed upon.
Sheriff Javier Salazar says these 48 migrants were lured under false pretenses before boarding a flight from San Antonio.
They were promised work, they were promised the solution to several of their problems, and they were unceremoniously stranded in Martha's Vineyard.
Bexar County now exploring suspects and possible charges over how the state of Florida flew migrants to Martha's Vineyard. The criminal investigation comes as Florida is slapped with lawsuits.
We filed a federal class action lawsuit challenging the Florida governor's fraudulent and discriminatory schemes, and they were approached by someone who presented themselves as a benefactor, as a kindly person, as someone who wanted to help them. But that wasn't true.
The state of Florida, it was volunteer, offered transport. If you believe in open borders, then it's the sanctuary jurisdictions that should have to bear the brunt of the open borders.
Unlike the consent form Texas has been giving to migrants before boarding buses out east, Florida's do not specify a location. It also doesn't name Florida anywhere.
Transportation by the state of Florida seems to be particularly egregious because of the coercion involved. That level of misinformation and really deceptive information being provided, it seems pretty clear that the decision to get on the plane was not voluntary.
Questions aside, Abbott's busing remains popular. A recent Texas Politics Project poll shows 52% of registered Texas voters support the initiative.
And as New York City struggles to find housing for migrants sent by bus from Texas, Mayor Eric Adams is now exploring legality of possibly housing these migrants on cruise ships as a short-term fix. A new PEN America report revealed Texas has banned more books from schools than any other state. This as schools across the country participated in Banned Books Week, advocating to keep those books on the shelves. Politics Today, Jayla Washington reports.
These are a few of my magnets.
Students at the Liberal Arts and Science Academy in Austin are making magnets during lunch.
This one just says read banned books.
Here in the library,
You have to glue it on.
they're sticking together, in a way, taking a stand on their right to read all books.
Banned books, they don't get as much attention as they should. It's really important that everyone gets to read what they want and to have proper representation throughout.
According to a PEN America report, a group that advocates for freedom of expression, more than 2,500 books have been banned across the country just last school year. In Texas, 801 books in 22 districts so far, the report says.
So it kind of definitely tugs at my mother heartstrings, you know, that there might be children who, you know, if a book is challenged, the thought there is, well, that book is inappropriate. So therefore, is that student inappropriate? And they're not.
Librarian Elizabeth Swittick is leading the efforts on her campus to encourage book inclusivity.
Ultimately, they're going to find a way to read what they would like to read.
Still, there are still advocates like Representative Matt Krause who feels school just is not the place for some topics to be explored.
We need to make sure that only age-appropriate materials are in our kids' schools. I think that's perfectly reasonable for parents to demand and expect that. And I think what you're seeing is a lot of parents moving in that direction.
This campus does support the right to choose, and students are hoping by celebrating all books, it might make a difference.
We could only do so much, but like what we do still matters. So like as long as we're making like a tiny difference, I think it counts.
It's worth pointing out PEN America found nationwide school administrators or board members made the overwhelming majority of the decision to ban books. Sometimes they circumvented their own rules to do so. Less than 4% of books banned follow challenge guidelines set out by the American Library Association. We'll wrap things up after this. You're watching Politics Today. The two first responders shot at the Tri-State Fair Monday night will be honored by the Potter County Commissioners tomorrow morning. According to the Commissioners' agenda, Sheriff's Deputy William Schneider and volunteer firefighter Brady Coral will receive a certificate of appreciation. The agenda says the recognition for them going above and beyond the call of duty during the shooting. And you can like us on Facebook and stay up to the latest politics news with us this week. We'll have continuing coverage on our website, myhighplains.com. Check us out on Alexa, Twitter, and Instagram. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you back here tomorrow.